What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. This is episode number 23, and it's our first race review podcast episode of the year. The Clash is in the books.
2023.
Clash is in the books. We're going to talk all about the Clash. We got some other pretty big news stuff that came out, one in particular, but a few other small ones as well. Silly season stuff and whatnot. But this is mainly going to be about the Clash. We'll preview the duels at the end as well, so because those are coming up. But before we do all that, I'd like to try something new on the podcast. I was at the store this morning and I found a new Dr. Pepper flavor called Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream. So I thought I'd crack it live.
Ooh, that crack.
Definitely smells like strawberries and cream. Here we go. Tastes more like just like Dr. Pepper, not like strawberries and cream. I can taste strawberry a little bit, but it's not
Not that exact.
not very distinct. It doesn't even look like any different. It just looks like Dr. Pepper. But I guess I like Dr. Pepper, so it's a good flavor. But that's still all right. Probably for Valentine's Day and whatnot. All right. Anyway, we'll just jump right into it now. Otherwise, the Clash. Did you get to watch any?
So I watched the final 75 laps.
Okay.
I only got through the last 75.
I watched a good amount of the heats and the last chances, and then also the main event. And let me say right off the bat, this race had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. We'll start with the high. Start off with the note. I think the racing was a lot better than last year's Clash. With quarter-mile track racing, you expect lots of spins, bumping, close quarter racing. That's exactly what we got. There were 5 total cautions in last year's race. This year's race had 16, if you include the halftime break, which will... I got a whole rant about that. We'll go on that in about a minute. But still 15 if you don't even count that. But there wasn't really a lot of like big wrecks. A lot of them were spins. A lot of them were just dust ups and whatnot. So I think that turned out to be pretty good as far as action on the racetrack. I know a lot of people aren't really happy with that happy with that kind of racing, but it's what you expect on a quarter-mile track, and I like it. So that's why I think it went good. I don't know. 16 cautions though, with not counting caution laps as well. That makes for a long race. So long, in fact, that the front row cars, Mike McDowell and Todd Gilliland, ran out of gas during a 150 lap quarter mile track race. Ran out of gas because they had to do the last chance qualifiers, both of them, and then with all the other yellows. That's completely hilarious. But I don't know. That was funny. But there's also some lows. One of them off the bat, Fox got off to a rough start this year. Their broadcast was awful. Completely and utterly awful. I don't know what it is about Mike Joy. He just seems checked out in life at this point. I know he's not always been the most enthusiastic commentator, but it seems like with Clint Boyer and whoever the third person is, it changes every week. Mike Joy just seems kind of checked out at this point. He doesn't really like a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, and he seems like he's just kind of forced to do this or whatnot. I don't know. He seemed a little bit better this race than he has been in most of last year's races, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see at Daytona.
And they brought Jimmy Johnson on to watch the start of the race, and then he had to leave because one of his cars wrecked. So that was funny. Then they brought Kevin Harvick on for a while, but it wasn't necessarily the commentators though. It was more so the fact that I think they just weren't running on full cylinders when it came to their entire production. There was a lot of camera angles that just were really weird. There was just a lot of technical fuck ups that they just had no clue what seemed like they were doing, and the audio was off, and they didn't really. It just seemed like they were running out of things to talk about, and there was just too much, not enough to talk about, what not to do. They were hyping stuff up, and those stuff tended to be overhyped, and they kind of ruined it and whatnot. And I don't know. I don't know what you saw watching the last 75 laps. I don't know if what you thought was pretty bad or whatnot.
It wasn't terrible. It's just when I think it all started with the middle part of the race when they had Wiz Khalifa come on and basically almost ruin the entire portion of the race. It makes me not want to watch it because I just got out of work and then I go onto it and I just see him singing. What do? I turn it all the way down. I'm like, nah, I don't want to listen to this
Oh
anymore.
my god, yeah, the celebrities. I know why the celebrities were probably the main reason why they decided to want to race in LA, because they want more exposure and more support from celebrities that will in turn get more fans involved. But here's the thing. Those celebrities don't give a fuck. Okay? They bring Gwen Stefani on for like an hour and a half to talk about all this random stuff during the heats and qualifiers and whatnot. She does not know a lick about anything NASCAR related, okay? She's... Oh, fuck. What was it? I think I quoted it. She said something that just went off the rails. Where was it? Oh, I didn't quote it. That's probably in the sports chat somewhere. Let me look it up.
My friend actually made a meme about the end of the race. I can wait till the end. I'll just wait until the end to show it, but very funny. It involves both RCR people.
Let's see. No,
But speaking of which, RCR was doing pretty good in this race.
They did. Finished second and third during the race, which was really, really good. Get that in a minute. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I didn't quote it. Fuck, I forgot what she said. It was something. She was either talking about Blake Shelton, or she was spitting random bullshit about NASCAR that was completely not true. Now, so I did forget one Fox fuck up that I think was huge. They were doing, driver intros were completely awful, okay? They bring on, I don't remember his name, you know him as his actor. He brought on, has no idea who any of these people are, any of the teams want. First off, they changed the format how they do driver intros. They did driver intros by team, not by driver, okay? So all the drivers would come out that were a part of a certain team. So this guy was introducing the teams, right? First off, introducing my team, I think that's completely stupid, because each driver does not get their own moment of fame for qualifying for this race and whatnot. I think that's stupid. But
Kevin Harvick, in his final season. 14 champion. Kevin Harvick,
why?
In his final season.
That was probably that's a big summary of the entire night right there. Kyle Harvick.
It would have been funny if it said Karen Harvick. Just.
Oh my god.
I would have loved it.
Probably the only good celebrity thing during the whole race probably was the command. Rob Lowe did a great job with the command. Not like Kevin James level command, but better than what most people have done recently. But like you said, Wiz Khalifa, fucking awful. He does not give a shit at all. They interviewed him like 4 times. Each time he said like 2 words and had the most blank expression on his face.
He probably was.
He probably
was high.
Yeah, he probably was. But we'll never know that for sure. Well, we probably will. I mean, you probably ask him or whatever the fuck. I don't know. but he just the fan, and then the another big performance was Dixie D'Amelio, and I thought she was actually okay. I don't know if she was lip syncing or whatever the fuck. First off, though, they didn't even show her. They gave her like a snippet of like 5 seconds during a coming back from commercial thing. And then they didn't really even show her at all. But I thought she did okay, even if she was just lip syncing. But what ruined her is this fucking, what was the band? What was it called? Whoever was DJing it. They DJ'd country. Dixie D'Amelio is not a country singer, and they were DJing country while she was singing. So you couldn't make out what either thing was doing, what either person or either band was saying. And it was like this mix of like high-end pop and country. Like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? That was annoying. But yeah, it was completely awful. And then the halftime show, right? Halftime in a race. Why? It's so stupid. I get like the Clash, right? It's always been segmented. There's always been a break. But the break is like 10 minutes. Has always been like 10 minutes. You go in, you check your tires, do some adjustments, go back out. This is like a 30-minute break where they just throw Wiz Khalifa out there for God knows what reason. And it's stupid, especially in a 150-lap race when it's on a quarter-mile track. Why are you having a halftime break? It does not make any sense, especially when there's coverage going from like 5 o'clock until like 10:30, and we've been racing all day. Like, what the fuck? Halftime shows suck, in NASCAR at least. Maybe not other sports. Other sports it makes sense though. NASCAR does not. Okay, anyway. More highs. Back to the racing. Biggest surprise was Ryan Preece.
Oh, yeah.
This guy was lights out. He had a fuel pickup problem, I think, was the reason why he didn't win, but that was...
Started 16th, finished 7th.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Top 10.
I mean, he led the most laps, too, which is
Yeah.
crazy. I thought he was going to run away with it. He got screwed over, I think, by a bunch of cautions and whatnot. But still a very impressive performance. If he can put up performances like that in storehouse equipment all season, he's definitely going to get his first win and make the playoffs, I think. It's about time. I mean, I think Stewart sees something in him and obviously showed it and did a really good job. So, and then, of course, short track racing comes with high tempers. There was definitely a lot of them. I think the one that people sticks out the most was late in the race. Bubba Wallace, who, by the way, I think ran one of the better races in the night, was up front all night, contending for the win. Got spun late in the race, ended up finishing 22nd. And it was so hilarious in the post-race when they were, I forget who they were interviewing. I think it was Austin Dillon. And they cut to Bubba Wallace, and he's just sipping on his water, and it's like this. Like pouty face. It was so funny. But yeah, it was crazy, everything. But, high tempers are... What do you think?
Oh, go ahead.
High tempers...
I was going to say...
No,
okay.
just go. I'll keep my mouth shut. I'm taking pepper.
Alright, I was going to say the main thing that was, like, interesting for me was the Ty Gibbs situation. His car just fire out of nowhere. I don't know the full thing, but I mean, I saw videos of it.
Oh yeah, they were talking about that a little bit. He is. I mean, that's pretty crazy. There's still, of course, a lot of safety concerns about the next gen car. Obviously, nobody got injured during this race, but they were going like 90 miles an hour fastest, so really no opportunity for that to happen. They were talking about during the race a lot of the changes that NASCAR made to the cars to allow them to crumple more on impact to try to reduce injuries, mostly in the rear end of the car. The only time that was really tested was with Bubba Wallace, and it did okay. But again, they were going too slow for it to really matter. I don't even think we're really going to see that. I don't think we're even really going to see that be tested even at Daytona. I think not even maybe not even Auto Club. I think we're probably gonna have to wait till Las Vegas or Atlanta, in mid March for that to really be a thing that we're gonna see if it's working or not. Especially like Las Vegas. But it seems like they took out some like parts to make it crumple more and whatever. So hopefully that fixes it. But wasn't really a concern here. Though the tie they were talking about like the tempers in practice as well and whatnot, and played a whole huge part in this too. And then of course Kyle Busch making his debut with RCR. Talking about RCR, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. Austin Dillon especially ran a really good race. I thought, bumping and banging. Kyle Busch was up front, got spun, and then rebounded to finish third. I thought, personally, on that last restart, he was going to challenge Truex for the win and possibly wreck him and win it. But his car just seemingly ran out of stuff that it could give, and having to settle for third. But still a pretty strong showing in a debut run for Kyle and that RCR car. So maybe it's more stuff to come. There'll be more about Kyle Busch later on. He is in the news big time right now. We'll talk all about that in a minute, but let's see. I think that's all I had for Clash stuff. What were your thoughts on the race?
It was pretty good. The last 75 laps. It was pretty interesting to see different drivers that you usually don't expect to be up in the front to be actually racing for a chance at a exhibition win, but still, like you got Justin Haley. Yeah, he didn't finish in the top 10, but he did pretty decent. Saw him do pretty decent. And all I saw was Ryan Blaney wrecking almost everyone in sight. I mean, that's all I saw. Just him spitting out Bubba Wallace, just spitting him out. I don't know what happened with Chase Elliott. When I went on there, I just saw he's all the way near the back, one lap down. I'm like, well, fun. This is how this year's going to go.
Yeah, he did. Chase Elliott was rather a non-factor, which was kind of shitty to see, but oh well.
I mean, seeing Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon do good, I mean, I'm okay with that. My friend thinks otherwise, but I think it's okay.
I also forgot to talk about the winner, Martin Truex, who had a very disappointing season in 2022. Despite having a good points here, did not make the playoffs, didn't win a race at all, and he gets back into victory lane here in the exhibition race. So, really good for him. He's locked himself into the New Year's Eve Spectacular, and seventh driver to do that, first without the Champions Provisional. You guys might wonder why the heats and qualifiers do not count towards the New Year's Eve Spectacular, and that is because because I do not. They're just not. It's not necessary. They're just qualifiers. And then you ask, then why are the duels? The duels are qualifying races. Why are they included? Because they're actually for points. You can actually get points in them now. So that's why I still include the duels. But that's why I do not include that. But the main clash counts, and Truex won, and he'll get in. So that was good. He put on a dominating performance and did really well as well. So that was nice to see. So my overall takeaways from the clash. Quarter mile track racing, good. Racing in Los Angeles, not good. I think Auto Club is enough for the Southern California market, especially with its reconfiguration coming, which we'll get to in a minute. It's just the fan turnout and the fans that were there and their like body language and also the language of just people everywhere, the drivers, celebrities, the reporters, everyone. It just shows that it's not a market that's sustainable for a sport like NASCAR. And
it didn't seem like there was a lot of people there And I looked.
No, there really wasn't. It's like maybe a little over half full. And that's pretty generous, I'd say. I know the LA Coliseum is a large stadium, but still, it's pretty crazy. But no, it's just not. It's not sustainable. I don't think. I think if they, I think running on the quarter mile track, like I said, I think is a good idea. If they do it on a real quarter mile track, because I think racing on a real quarter mile track will give an even better product than we've seen here, because they won't be racing on concrete slabs on a football field, and also be more trained towards a more NASCAR-esque market. Ones that do like this, even small communities like coming out and seeing quarter mile races. Now they get to watch NASCAR down there, and I think it'll produce a better atmosphere, better racing, and whatnot. But obviously, that's not going to happen because the Southern Florida or even up north quarter mile market is not as profitable as Los Angeles with all the sponsors. So that sucks, but that's my thoughts on it. But maybe one day. Hey, we'll see. All right, let's see. We got some other topics. So we'll talk about. Also, they came out of the Clash. A couple of announcements that came out of the Clash. They spend a lot of time with Harvick talking about his retirement in his final season. He did announce his plans post-retirement. I think if anybody pays attention to him, it's not very surprising, but he will be going into the Fox booth next year. So Harvick does have experience there. He's done Xfinity races in the booth for Fox for quite a while now. And he's done okay with it. I mean, I've seen a few Xfinity races with him in the booth. It's okay. He's not great. He's kind of like a Tony Stewart. He's very knowledgeable. He's not the most entertaining, but he's definitely heavily tolerable to listen to as well. So, be exciting to see him go there. And then the other big announcement was Jimmy Johnson, who they also brought on for a long time during the race. He had confirmed that he is running the Chicago Street Course race, which Master again is going to. Tickets went up for sale today. General admission tickets went up for sale for that race. So
yeah, I was actually telling my friend about that. Like, so are we going to the street course or not? Because I told everybody that I am, so we're going. And he said he still has to figure out the money yet. And then I said, oh, wait, that's not until, what, July?
yeah,
The one that we have to worry about is the Bristol Dirt.
I would assume tickets already went up sale for the Bristol race, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Better get them then. But yep, that was the other big announcement from the Clash. A couple other news things. Not it's manufacturer related. Ford is going back to F1. That's pretty big. I did not know Ford was going to jump into the open wheel market, but apparently they are. So that'll be quite interesting to see how well they perform on the track compared to some of the other manufacturers and have more of an American presence. There's been a lot of American presence going into F1. There's a driver from the U.S. racing in F1 now. Ford's going there, a big American company, so we'll have to see how that performs. Like I said, speaking of Auto Club, they will not be on the 2024 schedule. And they're not getting taken off the schedule permanently. They just can't run in 2024 due to the track finally going under for reconfiguration, which was supposed to happen pre-COVID, and then got delayed because of the pandemic, and is now finally happening after this year. So in a few weeks will be the last Auto Club race on this configuration, as it will get shrunken down and repaved and redone. So pretty cool. We'll see it back then in 2025. Let's see. Okay, we got a pretty big story to talk about, but we will save that one for a little bit later because it's big. Some other silly season stuff to look forward to is the duels approach. Connor Daly will attempt to run the Daytona 500. He will be this year's attempt for the money team. remember the money team from last year with, I think it was Kaz Grella, right? With the but the car's not going to be as vibrantly colored as it was last year. It's going to be more like an army kind of color, to pair with Connor Daly's primary scheme for the IndyCar. But they will be running that for trying to get in the 500. Also attempting to run the Daytona 500 is Zane Smith. He will be attempting for it in the 36 car for Front Row as a one-off third car for the team. The rest he is also going to be running 5 more races during the Cup season for Front Row, but he will be in the 38 car for those races, not the 36. Sirius XM will continue to sponsor Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick this season, so that's pretty cool to see there. Todd Gilliland, another Front Row driver. He will not run the full Cup season. I think he was originally supposed to run the full season. He is not anymore. So that's probably because Zane Smith's going to run there, but he's going to run a part-time. He's probably going to run most of the season in the 38, but then Zane Smith will run some as well in the 38, trying to get some prospects looking in there. That was just announced. And then Tricon Racing for the Truck Series, they're tabbing Jesse Love for a part-time truck schedule. So that is pretty cool. And then UniFirst will continue to sponsor Chase Elliott for 3 races this season. That was just announced. So let me look. I'm just gonna quickly hold on here. Let's see. Other news. Grid Life's Touring Cup will sponsor the NASCAR Road America Xfinity race. So they're like a sports car racing series. Looks like as well Toyota is planning on adding more NASCAR teams in 2024. Ooh, let's see what this is all about. Looks like rumors have been going around that Trackhouse will be switching from Chevy to Toyota. And Justin Marks apparently shot down that rumor. But it looks like Toyota's still pretty optimistic at adding more teams. So we'll have to see what that goes on as the season progresses. Otherwise, all right. Well, I guess that's my other news stuff. Now let's get to the funny stuff. Kyle Busch. Just after the clash, he went on social media and admitted to being detained in Mexico after bringing a loaded gun into Mexico, which is illegal. So he was detained. This was back in January, prior to the clash and everything, but he just now came out and admitted to it publicly. Here's the big piece from this. It's against Mexican law, gun law, to do that. So he has been sentenced to 3.5 years in jail. However, he is not in Mexico to serve the sentence right now. He is cleared to run the Daytona 500. It's not. Now NASCAR came out and said that this situation does not pertain to them. They're not going to take any action. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, we're good. They're not going to take any action. And it is still at this time unclear if Kyle Busch will serve this prison sentence or what will happen there. I don't know if you heard about this, but this is huge for many reasons. I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
I hope he gets served in jail. I hate Kyle Busch. I hate him. I don't know why. First off, you would do that. Second, you're going into an out of state. You should know what the rules are before you go into that country or state. It, it's not rocket science.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that Kyle Busch is not the sharpest tool in the shed. Uh, to put it lightly, over the years. I don't even know what goes through his head, though. He says, "Oh, I didn't know the gun was in there." How the fuck do you not know a loaded gun is in your suitcase when you go to fucking Mexico?
I'm just gonna put this loaded gun in this case. Huh. Oh, don't worry, cop. I didn't know it was in my bag. I just put it in there.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, this doesn't make any sense. And first off, why is the gun even there? Why do you have a gun? Why are you bringing it to Mexico on vacation with your family? And why is it loaded? There's so many questions because I get, NASCAR is a more southern, rural, fan base demographic, and guns are a big piece of it. You like to have guns, you like to go hunting. I don't know if Kyle Busch hunts, he probably doesn't, but he's from Las Vegas. He doesn't seem like a guy who would hunt, but maybe he does. I don't know. This wasn't a hunting rifle, by the way. This is like a fucking 38 millimeter pistol, whatever the fuck they're called. And I know like guns are such a big collector's item and they're cool to get and whatnot. I don't see that. First off, I don't see the fascination in having a gun. I've seen them. I've held a gun. I've never shot one, but I've seen one. Sure, some of them have cool like engravings on them and they might have cool colors. They might be loud. But other than like if you're in the army or like like self-defense, you're a hunter. If you're like a hunter or you're in the army, or you're like police officer. Other than that, I don't see why you would have the need to have a gun. That's where my stance is on guns, by the way. But I like Kyle Busch.
Because this is America.
It is America, but he was leaving America, so.
True.
But like, it's all just about the common sense. It's all about common sense, Kyle. Like, you can't tell me you've won 2 cup championships, how many fucking races, started your own team, had a family, and you're stupid enough to not know you have a gun in your luggage when you go to fucking Mexico. I don't know. How? That's what baffles me is like, how? How do you not know this? Because, like, it's even wilder, too, that he got sentenced to prison. And I think his example is going to be a lot like a lot of other examples with celebrities. And the big one that I can think of that happened recently was Shakira with her tax evasion scandal in Spain. Because he's well known, because he's a celebrity, because he's a NASCAR driver, because he's wealthy, he's going to be not going to have to serve the sentence. Whereas it was just a rando, well, they'd have to serve the 3.5-year sentence. But I don't think that's what's going to happen with Kyle Busch. I really don't. I think he is going to get out of this. I think he is going to not have to serve it. And that's pretty much my my thoughts on that.
He should really serve it, but like you said, he's too rich.
Let's read the statement from Kyle Busch himself. By the way, this is from his Twitter. In late January, Samantha and I enjoyed a several-day vacation in Mexico. When departing this country, my handgun was flagged during routine screening at the airport. I have a valid concealed carry permit and my local authority and adhere to all handgun laws, but I made a mistake by forgetting it was in my bag. discovery of the handgun led to my detainment while the situation was resolved. I was not aware of Mexican law and no intention of bringing a handgun to Mexico. Again, how do you not know it's in your fucking bag? God damn. When it was discovered, I fully cooperated with authorities, accepted the penalties, and returned to North Carolina. I apologize for my mistake and appreciate the respect shown by all parties as we resolved the matter. My family and I consider the issue closed. It is not closed. That is... Again, I don't know. How? Yeah, 3.5 year. Oh, yeah, they also pay $1,000 fine as well as a 3.5 year sentence. Yep, he's not going to be punished by NASCAR because it's not their issue. It's also pretty well known that Richard Childress, Kyle's new team owner, very prominent gun owner. He's a big hunter. He used to hunt with Dale Earnhardt a lot when Dale was alive. I don't know. This is annoying. It really is. Fuck that shit. I don't know. It's alas, though, there's nothing we can really do about it, I guess. I mean, it'd be a big hit for NASCAR's ratings if he did have to serve the sentence, especially during the season. And, wouldn't want to get their prized child, taken away. Whatever. I don't know. It's pretty insane. But, what are we supposed to do about it, Well, that's all the news stories I got. Unless you got anything.
I've got a meme.
Huh?
It's about Kyle Busch and Justin Dillon. I've got a meme here. that my friend made. So it shows Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon. It says for Kyle Busch, when you say you'd use your teammate as a ram to win a race from third on the final lap after your first race on the team, then it shows Austin Dillon, and your new teammate isn't bluffing for the interview. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Just Dylan's face, just the thing that gets me, just like, what did I sign up for? Why did I sign into this?
Oh, that's funny.
But
it's funny.
We should make our predictions for Daytona 500.
We don't even know who's in the 500 yet, technically.
Oh, yeah, true.
We got the duels coming up on Thursday night at Daytona before the actual race. The Blue Greens Vacations duels in Daytona. The first one starts 7 o'clock. The second one will start approximately about 9 p.m. And we'll look at the official entry lists for both teams. I don't know if they're actually fully in yet because I know the starting lineup for the duels have always been set up by the qualifying for the 500 that happens usually on Sunday, a week before the race, because they're in LA. Hasn't happened yet, so it might not be set, but there probably is an entry list.
Yeah, I can look them. Yeah, no, they're qualifying on February 6th. Or February 16th. I'm an idiot.
All right, so here actually we got a couple of other news things. Myatt Snyder is going to join Joe Gibbs for 6 Xfinity races this year. That's pretty cool. Kyle Busch announces his 2023 Craftsman truck schedule and new sponsor Zaries Transport. So Kyle Busch will run the 51 truck at Las Vegas, Circuit of the Americas, Martinsville, Kansas, and Pocono. Pretty cool looking truck, I gotta say so myself.
I just found out the power rankings, and it's very odd of what the power rankings are right now. Chastain in 5th, Elliott in 4th, Kyle Busch in 8th or 3rd, Larson in 2nd, and then Logano in 1st. Why?
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me why Logano is such a higher ranked driver.
Did you already say Mike Snyder joins Joe Gibbs Racing?
And he's gonna run six races for Joe Gibbs. As again, they try to expand their Xfinity lineup post Kyle Busch.
There's nothing I have left. I'm trying to find JTG Dari Racing. The partnership lineup that they have. With Kroger, which shocking that Kroger of all places chooses JTG Dari Racing for this long.
Well, that's Kroger for you.
A major partner added was Kellogg Company, the Coca-Cola Company. Other than that, I have nothing else. Oh wait, there's more. I think this is a new sponsor unless someone else has used it. Pit Boss.
I don't know what that is.
Pit Boss is a part of JTG. So Pit Boss is basically, let's say we're going to the racetrack and you want to go into the pits. Like you're close, like Spartan Speedway, let's just say that. We go into there and we want to get tickets to the pits. We can actually go on that app and get tickets from there. We can just go in without having to, give the actual money.
Huh.
I do it all the time.
Interesting.
And of course, you got Kleenex.
Alright, so here is a projected Daytona 500 entry list from the J Ski site. There's 42 cars on here. I think only 40 are going to start the race, so 2 are not going to make it. But, of course, we got Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Corey LaJoie, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ark Almirola, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney. The 13 of Chandler Smith from Colleague for Colleague Racing, Chase Briscoe, Riley Herbst, the Rick Ware 15 entry, AJ Allmendinger, Chris Buescher, Martin Truex, Christopher Bell, Harrison Burton, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Justin Haley, Mike McDowell, Zane Smith in the 36, obviously Todd Gilliland, Ryan Preece, Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse, Alex Bowman, Connor Daly, obviously from the Money Team, Cody Ware, Ty Gibbs, Austin Hill in the 62 for Beard Motorsports, 2311's third entry, Travis Pastrana, Ty Dillon, BJ McLeod, of course Jimmy Johnson, and Daniel Suarez. And then possibly a 27 car from Team Hezeberg with no name yet, and then possibly Greg Biffle running the 500 again in the 44 for NY Racing Team. Could also enter the duels, but is not confirmed yet.
I like how Greg Biffle's still running in NASCAR. You know, even though he's not full time, he's just jumping in and out. You know, do some fun races.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. So, but it's pretty hard to make a duels predictions if we don't know who's running in each duel. I guess we could do it anyways. I don't know. I don't really expect many of these back of the pack drivers to really have a chance to win. I think most of them are just going to be fighting for the final, transfer position or whatever. And that's really the whole point of the duels. Obviously, I like to see two different winners to get more people into the final race, the New Year's Eve Spectacular race, but that's also really just to set the field for the 500. We've seen some pretty exciting duel races in the past, though, and I think we can see it again, especially with the updated car, more plate package and whatnot. So obviously, I have to pick Chase Elliott to win a duel, obviously. And you know what? I'm going to say Jimmy Johnson win ones too. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say he's going to win one. I don't care. I don't care what people say. He's going to win one. Pretty unlikely, but maybe he will. Who knows?
I'm going to have to go with Alex Bowman, which is very shocking for the event, but he's been doing okay. And I think Martin Truex is going to win a duel. They've both been doing decent. I mean, Martin Truex dominated Coliseum with Bubba Wallace. So, who knows? It might actually be Bubba Wallace and Martin Truex. Who knows? Or maybe just Bubba Wallace is just going to spin out on the first lap like he almost did.
Possibly.
The first race of next year. But it's okay.
Yeah. Possibly. But yeah, obviously we can't know until the official duels, but we gotta wait till Friday next week to record again because we gotta wait till the duels are over or record late Thursday. So we'll do that again. But we got one more thing I want to talk about before we leave. So they raced on a quarter-mile track at the Clash. We have a local quarter-mile track. How feasible? I've thought about this for a long time. How feasible would it be to get a NASCAR race, maybe not a Cup race, maybe not even Xfinity, maybe a truck race, right? Or like even maybe ARCA race at like our local track, Corrigan Oil Speedway. How feasible would it be?
See, it would be okay. At the same time, you would have to figure out, okay, you got to have pit road. Instead of having them go through something, do all that. Because that speedway is probably going to get taken down sometime. Because if you guys didn't know, that has been sold to someone. And this year, they're only having 6 races. So, who knows? It might not even be here next year. The 6 races they're doing.
What, the Corrigan Oil Speedway?
Yeah.
They're only doing 6 races?
They're only doing 6 races. They did sell the track. I'm hoping that they aren't going to destroy it, because that track
What the fuck? Why are they only doing 6 races? I thought they raced every Friday.
So what they're doing is they're probably not going to do Friday races. They're only probably going to do, because they're doing, this is from what my dad said, 3, actually I can look this up real quick.
Well, this is shocking news. Now we have to talk about this.
So I guess I do have news. um, where is it? All right, yeah. Reduced the limited schedule in 2023. Um, this is what the people that own the place said on their Twitter. Tracy and I would like to announce the 2023 Summer of Celebration at Corrigan Oil Speedway. 2023 will be our final season as owners and promoters of Corrigan Oil Speedway. We have reached an agreement to sell the Speedway. We are eternally grateful for all the support from our fans, race teams, business partners, and staff. Owning the Speedway has been one of the most exhilarating experiences of our lives. Our 2023 schedule includes our most impactful events, and we will look forward to enjoying every lap, every person, and every moment. That's what they said there. Um, so the first event of the season will be the first night of destruction. So that will be good. And that'll be on May 19th. There will be another destruction show, and it is planned for Friday, July 7th. And the first circle track event of the year will be the inaugural Bob Finley Memorial. That'll be on Wednesday, July 26th. So already, we got 2 Fridays and a Wednesday.
Wednesday? What the fuck? Oh, Wednesday.
Right?
What the fuck they racing on? This ain't the COVID year. We ain't racing on no Wednesdays. What the fuck?
The race features an over $35,000 purse, paying an impressive $6,767 to win. Vermeer, the Speedway will host the annual Wild Child Memorial event on Friday, August 4th. Where is it? The final quote unquote, even it says it, quote unquote, traditional circle track event of the 2023 season will be the annual Harvest on Sunday, August 20th. And the last event is the final night of destruction on September 8th.
What the fuck?
So already you have a Wednesday. Let's just talk about that. A Wednesday.
Why on a Wednesday? Nobody's gonna show up. It's a weeknight. Oh. And then also, 3 Night of Destructions. There used to only ever just be the one. There used to only just be the one in September.
Which I'm okay with that, honestly. 3 Night of Destruction.
I mean, they're the biggest seller, but the last one is always the biggest one because it's the final race, and also they bring out the school buses and whatnot. And
I feel like the title of this should be Wednesday.
But that that definitely spells doom because who'd they say who they sell it to? Did it say?
Said Speedway sold, expected to change hands at season's end. So it said in a shocking announcement last week, they said the officials announced. Okay, the announcement also included a statement saying that both the owners had entered an agreement to sell the Speedway at the end of the season. So it could be sold by anyone. We just gotta hope that's not someone that's going to tear down the entire place, level it, and then just put stupid houses.
Look, okay. Well, let's see. So so probably won't even be called Corrigan Oil Speedway anymore. It'll probably be called something else if it's getting sold.
If I had the money and I bought that place, I would turn it back to Spartan Speedway. I am used to that name. I grew up on that name.
It does. Okay, it's a cool name. It doesn't make sense though, because it's not on MSU's campus. So I'm okay with it not being called Spartan Speedway.
Well, no,
However, I've gotten used to Corgan Oil. It's not a bad name. I don't like Corgan Oil, who probably is one of the big causes of pollution here in the U.S. and in environmental damage. I don't like them sponsoring it, but
American gas is oil.
so it's so it'll be interesting to see who has the track, and it'll also be really. I have optimism that the new owner will pour money into it and upgrade it, expand it, add more races, do more things to make it better. However, with it being so few events this year, that spells that the track is not really in good financial position, and it is looking bleak going forward. Which would
I think what we need to do is do a on-track thing again. This time, do it for the last race of Corgan Oil. I feel like.
I hope it doesn't get closed down. I like going there. Tickets are cheap. It's a fun night, and that would suck. That would really suck.
It would. I mean, I grew up on that. I grew up when I can remember I was like, 7 years old, and my dad's friend raced there, and I think in the garage somewhere I have a picture of me inside his modified as a kid with my sister on the side. So it's like, I grew up on that track. That track is my childhood.
And it's
to see it be like this.
I know I have lots of fun memories going there and seeing a lot of the races and whatnot. And it always seems like it has a decent fan base. People like going there, especially for the Sunday night races, especially for the Night of Destruction races. But really, even the Fridays have a good turnout too. So I'd be very interested, and it has a good amount of sponsors. Lots of them local, which are helping probably expand their view of it as well. It would fascinate me to see what if it is in financial trouble, why it's in financial trouble, because they really Corgan when it got rebranded from Spartan Speedway to Corgan Oil Speedway, all that really got changed was all the branding and the sign out front and the wall and there was really no big overhaul that really the track's still really what the same. I think a couple things got switched around, but not really anything.
There used to be wooden seats, and then they changed it from the. They actually took seats that they took from MIS, and they took it and put it in there. So they took the same kind of stuff that they used for MIS, and they put it at that. So it's like those metal seats are actually from MIS.
Wow, that's
MIS.
Cool. Well, shit. It's kind of sad to know that it's getting. I guess I can't say it's sad. It's not confirmed it's closing down, but
people on this channel have probably seen Oregon Oil Speedway. I mean, we did a video on it.
I've done a few vlogs from there.
Yeah.
But I've been there a lot of more times. I've been going there for years, seeing races there.
And if you're nearby there, look up on Google Maps, and if you're nearby, go there sometime. It's actually a fun place. It's really fun. There's interesting racing. I mean, stuff that you would rarely see in NASCAR, but they don't go super fast like NASCAR.
Damn, that sucks. Well, okay, so we're going to change the perspective here. Let's say we're the new owners, right? Let's say we're the new owners of this track. We bought the damn Speedway. Corgan Oil's not. Let's say it's not going anywhere. This is the Pringleson Speedway, okay? It's not going anywhere. We're hosting races all the time. All right. What would we do to make it better? Okay. How would we change it? So I've been thinking. You'd repave it, huh? I wouldn't repave it.
I only say repave it because I've walked on that track. and there are so many bumps and cracks and everything, and it looks like grass is growing up from the cracks. And all they did was just put tar over the cracks.
Huh.
That ain't gonna do crap. Just repave it. Keep it, keep it the way it is. Just take a little bit off, put in a new one. Take a little bit off, put new ones in. Just make it so that it's drivable.
When you're going so slow, I don't think it really matters. But if it's that bad, you might have to. I'm just afraid that would affect the racing product. But I guess over time it would probably come into its own fruition and whatnot. Here what I do. I would first off I'd get a better sign, and a better presentation that goes up alongside the road. I would also expand the seating. I would have an identical sized grandstands as they've got on the front stretch that they've got, and put it on the back stretch. Add backstretch seating, put billboards on top for advertisements, whatever, maybe add a media booth up there and whatnot. And then I would also expand the turn 3 grandstands. So there's like this grassy area in between where the scoreboard is and where the seats actually are, where you can park cars. I don't know why that's there. I think that's pretty stupid. So I'd put grandstands in there.
I think if it's like sold out in the seats, they're saying, "Oh yeah, you could bring your car in. You could just, sit in your car if it's like a little bit of cold day." But sometimes it gets cold here in Michigan.
just a little bit. And then I'd also.
Oh yeah, I think it's a little bit 36 degrees right now.
I would also level it up to the same level as the front and back stretch grandstands, same size. I'd keep probably the same scoreboard. Maybe that's not big enough really for a new one. The other big thing I would add, like an actual they have like little stands on the front stretch for like shirts and whatnot. I'd expand that. I'd add a little store. There's some open area on the outside part of the track. I would add a little store there for shirts and hats and pins or whatever. I think that would be a big revenue stream, I'd say.
I know they used to have this guy that always go there, and he'd have die-cast cars, like little 164 cars. That's the right size. I don't know die-cast that much, but like little tiny cars that you see Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Jr., like Jeff Gordon's, and you would, as a kid, always want to go over there and buy them.
I remember that too. That obviously you'd still want to have like open space for like outside vendors, but I think for like official speedway stuff, like maybe you can even have some official speedway diecasts if you had the money to invest in that, and then you could sell those at the little store. But then also have areas where people could set up. You want to sell retro NASCAR merch or other stuff like that, they could sell it there. On the backstretch as well, I'd add another concession stand and a bathroom, since there's only one set of each at the time, especially if you're going to have that much more seating. Because Speedway right now sits about 5,000 people. I looked this up a while ago. You add all those seats, you probably over double the capacity to up in the 11,000 range, so you're going to definitely need that.
And you're going to need more parking.
Parking is the one big problem. There's not a lot of room to expand for parking. And so I think that would hinder some of the expansion, because you'd be taking away some prime parking space to add grandstands and trying to bring more people in. I don't see how they would be able to get it. I think they could. I think there's room to expand. I just don't know where. I don't know the logistics of that. So that would be quite weird. But I think it could be done, I think. But I don't know. That's what I'd do to start out at least, and to bring more fans in and whatnot. But they obviously could do something a little bit different. But it's kind of bleak now. I don't know. Let's do a little more research, though. We should do, you know what we should do? If it does shut down, we should do a documentary on it. We should do a documentary on that speedway. I think it'd be so fun.
Or if it closes and the gate can be opened, just go through it. Look at the old abandoned racetrack, like they did with that one airport raceway, that old racetrack that's still there, I guess.
That'd be cool too. Urban exploration. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We're gonna have to keep updating on that as it goes throughout the year, because I'm pretty sure soon they're gonna announce who bought it. I mean, like they're gonna have to. That's gonna come up eventually, and like the
They said
future
by the end of the year.
by what's gonna happen to it. So, alas, I think that's all we got to talk about. Unless there's other bombshells you gotta drop on me. But otherwise, I think that is it for this episode of the Talking NASCAR podcast, episode number 23. Next episode, we will talk about the duels, and then officially preview the 500, and we'll have some other news to talk about and whatnot as well. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for other much more amazing content. And until next time, we will see you guys later. Goodbye.